Alright guys, we got some business to tend to now that Hinoji's out of the way. Well, that was actually the chief business issue thing. And it's over now. Yeah, you're seeing this again because of an issue. The issue's resolved though, so don't even worry about it. You just get to see Akashi getting teased again. And maybe Sill's seen again, I guess, at some point. But I'm gonna declare war on Akashi. That's where I'm going next in the game. Basically, Takeda, I thought that they would declare war on me automatically. They didn't do that. So I can ignore them for a little while. The game, I believe it wants me to do that. When I see that it takes 6 negotiation to declare war on Takeda, yet it takes 13 for Akashi, that's an indicator to me that the game would prefer I attack Takeda. Either way, I'm going for Akashi because they're more or less required to for the game to go by normally. I'll explain that afterwards. You can see that the Tenshi sect was vassalized, and that's part of the reason. But I'd like to explain Akashi a little bit here. Extremely easy clan. They're not hard at all. Probably the easiest in the game. I would go as far as to say that, because other ones like oh boy, I don't know if I want to say Ashikaga because I haven't left them alone long enough to get more powerful, but all of the clans across the map get more troops as the game goes on. So they can keep up with you at any stage in the game, I suppose. In theory, they could. Well, Akashi does that as well, but they're just weaker in general. They have smaller troop sizes. Kazemaru, his troop size is usually fairly large, considering he's their leader, but that's really it. They're not... And then they have no unique units. They don't have any real diviners. They don't have anything special that you need to worry about. I mean, I don't think they have really any ninjas either. It's mostly monks, warriors, few guard units, no Mikos, probably. Akashi's just really easy. But anyway, they're easy because all of their leaders, all of their bloodline got annihilated by Mori. The Mori clan, you could see in a previous video, attacked Akashi and decimated them. So these old men, Abe and I forgot the other one's name. Abe is the only one I remember because, well, it would be Abe. But it's Abe in my book. Him and Asahina, there you go. Both of them are killable. They're the only noteworthy commanders in the army. You can't capture them, and if you annihilate them in combat, they're gone. They're out of the game. But Akashi's easy. They've got a few bumps when you're fighting them. You'll see those. They just slow you down. They don't really make them harder or anything like that. So don't fret there. When you're fighting them, they're easy. You can fight them way earlier on in the game if you want to as well. And I'm recruiting Daidoji Komatsu. Love her. Love her. And yeah, I'm not really paying attention to what units I'm using for this because I don't care. Akashi's not aggressive either, I'll note that. Mori can force Akashi to declare war on you. That may not happen in your first playthrough, it may only happen in future ones. I'm unsure. But Akashi will declare war on you, and I've had it go like 6 turns before they even attack you with a force at all, because they're just not aggressive. And that's how it is. You don't have to worry about them, ever. And due to some helpful YouTube comments, I found out that giving guard units intelligence increases their guard rate. I haven't tested it myself, but why would someone lie in a YouTube comment, honestly? Well, I mean, there are some really stupid responses in YouTube comments. Those are famous, but so few people have commented on my videos. They're all fairly trustworthy and intelligent. So I appreciate that. And that's why I gave him the intelligence. And I will give it to Senime too, because I always have tons of intelligence increasing books, and I never have a really good spot to use them. It just doesn't find it. I don't find a spot for them. Diviners and sorcerers are the only people who use those. And the few that you get usually come with a fairly high stat there. So, you know, whatever. The regular textbooks don't have a place for them because they're already over 6, is what I'm saying. And here I'm introducing you to Daidoji because I love her dearly. Her age scenes in the game, she has 2. One of them is fairly well hidden. The other one is obvious. You get her affection up and she tells you what she wants, you do it. That one requires you to get her to trust, and I think once trust is maxed out, she goes to love. I'm not sure if love comes before that. Anyway, it's like all the other females in the game. If you want to get their character clear, max out their affection, their smiley face meter, if you will. She asks you to remove all the diviners from your army. That includes Son, if you have him. You can't have any diviners at all, so it's not worth it. The scene is basically her losing her virginity with a dildo, so it's a double negative for me, and I don't like the scene, though it's pretty funny. Rance reads her a hentai novel thing, I guess, I don't know, an Arrow story. He reads her one that one of her subordinates wrote about her, so that's kind of humorous. The other scene triggers if you've left her in your prison for long enough. She'll, basically, Rance will pull her out of the prison, molest her, and then she goes into his concubine den, and you don't get her as a unit at that point. And you don't really see much of her anymore either, though you get the satisfaction, and honestly, that scene I like more. So there you go. Those are her scenes. I was disappointed with them both. Well, actually, the second one I was pleased with because, let me skip this, I forget, my apologies. I didn't know she had a second scene, so when I saw that, I was very pleased. But it still wasn't very good. And here, I didn't think that this would happen in your first playthrough, but apparently it does. Mori conquers Tanegashima. If you leave Tanegashima, sit around long enough, and you declare war on Akashi, Mori will move in and take them out. If you're at war with Tanegashima, they won't do that. So if you declare war on Tanegashima and Akashi, you're in the clear. They won't do it to your territory if you've conquered Tanegashima's territory. Yeah, but it'll happen after you declare war on Akashi. I don't think it happens before that. At least it never has for me. It may still. I doubt it, though. And they lose. They don't really have a fight because Tanegashima focuses on muskets, and that's, again, why I didn't fight them. The muskets are a finicky unit in this game, especially Yuzuhara. You'll see that in a future playthrough, or you may have experienced it yourself if you decided to go for them. If you need any help or advice on them, let me know. I'll help you. But Mori takes them, and Shigeko and Yuzuhara are not capturable anymore. They're basically killed. They're removed from the game, and because Mori conquered them, I'm sure that they're dead. But what happened here, it started raining, and muskets are absolutely fucking useless in the rain, because you've got to light it, you know? And the gunpowder can't be damp. Things like that, and that's probably happened to a lot of armies in real life. Not currently, obviously, but in Sengoku Japan, because muskets were used. I don't want to say they were really common, but they imported them from Europe, and I think they crafted them on their own, the citizens of Sengoku Japan. And it really changed warfare, obviously, because I'm giving you a background on it because it's interesting. Because anybody could use the musket. You didn't have to spend years training with a sword. So it was considered dishonorable, and it was kind of like bullshit. It was like hacking, you know? That's what it was like back then. Some fucking 14-year-old's gonna pop a 35-year-old trained... 35, is that too old for a samurai? I don't know. But anyway, muskets were dishonorable. You couldn't use them in damp weather. That's why Tanegashima gets conquered. Now you know. Alright, now we've got Ogawa Kentaro joining our army. Thank God. That is... Oh, man, that's how I want to celebrate my my college exams being over. Kentaro joining my army. Yeah, fuck yeah. Hey, Kentaro. And Miki joins, too. She doesn't really join the army. She isn't even as important as Syl. Miki just kind of hangs around, kind of like Koime in the beginning of the game and 3G throughout. She's never a unit. She's involved in the story. There are a few, I guess, dynamic events that happen with her. By dynamic, I mean you choose A, you continue the story, you choose B, you get a game over. That's not really dynamic, but Miki has those. You talk to her, but when I said she's not like Syl can fight in commander battles. Miki does not. She's probably less adept than Koime at combat. So, she doesn't fight. Kentaro, you get him in your army at this point, and I mentioned it before, maybe? But if you have a full roster, he's still gonna come into your army. You're not gonna be able to, you're not gonna body block Kentaro out of your army. Fuck that. Ranmaru or Kenshin or whoever the hell you have at the top of the list will be killed to replace him. Unless it's their route. Like, obviously Kenshin can't die in Kenshin's route. Kentaro doesn't join your army in her route, I don't think. No, I'm actually not sure. I don't think that he does, but whatever. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I would have remembered that. Fuck. I'm gonna have to check later. Oh well. And I think this is actually where... No, never mind. But, oh yeah, I'll explain that. Mickey is the Demon King. Mickey, the woman, is the Demon King, not the Queen. She is the leader, but I thought queens could be leaders too. Apparently, King is the only leader. I don't know. Fuck it. Her name is Little Princess. So, in Rance, the game is referred to in years as LP because she's the current Demon King. I guess that's how it works. There are some interesting things that can happen with that. It's relevant to the story because she's a demon, she's evil, Chaos wants to kill her. Nico has, I guess, just made peace with the fact that her master, Nico's master Kentaro, is dating Mickey, basically. Whatever. But Mickey's nice. She doesn't want to be the Demon King. She suppresses it by eating lemons. That's a bit of the story you'll see later. And there is a whole route, I guess if you want to call it a route, it's pretty shitty, that you can't experience early in the game. You can experience it in later playthroughs. That involves Mickey turning into the Demon King. And it's pretty much an auto-lose route unless you cheat the game, which you can do with battle permits. I'll explain that when the event starts taking place because it's more interesting, and I will never do that on YouTube. I don't want to say never because I might get bored, and I love this game, so I'd love to throw more videos out there for it, so it might happen, but there is a route involving Mickey turning into the Demon King. And in your first playthrough, if you allow that to happen, it's a game over. They don't let you experience it because of the autosaves and people not keeping saves and it completely fucking over an entire playthrough without any hope of return. So they just don't allow for it, and thank God. But yeah, that's interesting. You can look into it if you want. I'll explain it later. Yeah, but Mickey is important in the game. She has some important things that happen. I just dislike her. And I'll show you Kentaro here. Replenish Daidoji. There's her fan club ability. I think it's 20 troops a turn. I'm pretty sure. Fuck it. It's 20 troops a turn. Maybe I'm wrong. But Kentaro there. You can see all his stats are below average, especially secondary stats. He's really fucking horrible at everything, and I hate him. You can go through the effort of increasing those stats if you want. I never did. I never will. He's fine for commander battles. As you can see, well, I can't select him, but his level cap is 99 like Rance. He starts out at 25, which is also bad, but he has several events that take place throughout the game that let you increase that. I'll introduce you to them now here. They have a lot of story elements like this, and honestly, I don't think I've ever gotten their character clear because they have so many. I might have done it if... I'm not even sure the requirements, frankly. It may just be going through all their dialogues, and maybe more than that. I'm unsure. If it's just going through all of their dialogues like this, I've done it. But I'm sure there are bits later in the game that are required as well, because Kentaro and Mickey have very important story segments. True Route wouldn't really be the same without them at all, especially the ending. So, they are important, way more important now than they were previously in the game. Though I appreciate that Alicesoft introduced you to them earlier, you know, instead of just throwing them at you now. So, and yeah, I'll be getting Sagan and Genry in the turns to come. Sometime, hopefully. I'll make use of them, and Son should be coming in sometime as well. There might be specific turn limits on them, like... In your first playthrough, it might be like, you can only get Son after a certain event happens later in the game. that might exist. I don't know. We'll see. But you can see here the Tenshi sect is vassalized, and once you vassalize a country or a clan's territory, you get their national power. But things like dungeons within their territory are normally closed to you, I believe. So usually you want to conquer them. It's a bad idea to vassalize them. The Tenshi sect is the only thing I ever vassalize because you get Seigen and Genri for it. Yeah, I think that's it for vassalization. But I'll explain in the next part why it's important to attack Akashi. So I'll see you there.